This morning, we are learning more details after a shooting in Price sent 2 people to the hospital.
Price police say that it was a domestic violence situation. And this morning, we have new developments in the fiery crash killing 3 people in Wyoming. Has reached out to KSL about the work of his canine units and their most recent drug seizure. Sheriff Tyson Hunting, as states across the nation deal with the fallout of severe weather, we're learning that heavy snow led to a multi-vehicle pileup on the New York Thoroughway. More than a dozen vehicles were involved in the crash on Monday. Multiple ambulances, workers among the thousands of people losing their jobs.
Yeah, we spoke with one Utahn who was fired just 2 weeks away from ending his year-long probation, which could have protected his job. News specialist Brian Carlson has more details about his story.
Look at this. County, state, and federal crews recently put their rescue skills to the test. Today, White House officials are meeting with Russia, seeking an end to the country's war in Ukraine as negotiations get underway without Ukraine at the table.
Here at home, nationwide protests are ramping up with more federal worker cuts raising safety concerns. NBC's Alice Barr has more from Washington.
Is ordering all educational institutions to not consider race a factor in student life. The Education Department sent the letter for your money this morning as tax filing season is underway. The IRS has some helpful tips for those who are still in the process. The good news in Salt Lake City, be ready to pay more to tee off. The city is seeking Alaska could be ready to blow.
Researchers say hundreds of small earthquakes have occurred over the past 10 months beneath Mount Spur. In a 104-year-old birthday girl got a very unique wish granted for her special day.
She got to visit the Slammer.
What? Well, that could be
yes,
it.
Maybe
All right.
she's stoked.
Happy birthday.
All right, listen to this. A Minnesota lodge claims to have created one of the longest ice skating trails in the U.S.
The new trail has been drawing in locals and visitors from all over the state.
All right, Matt, thanks so much. As you're waking up, heading out the door this morning, starting off relatively quiet, accident-free, but take a look at our camera here in the Big Cottonwood Canyon. Snow is coming down, so if this is a part of your morning commute, of course, give yourself some extra time and be mindful of that. No major issues southbound from Ogden. It's about a 32-minute ride. Like I mentioned, you will see just a little bit of congestion coming from Summit County, from Kimball Junction to Salt Lake City. It's a 23-minute ride. And no major issues in Provo Canyon this morning. As you travel from Spanish Fork up to the Salt Lake City area, it's a 42-minute ride, Lori.
So thank you.
We do have a broken down vehicle if you're traveling along the west belt of I-215, specifically traveling in the northbound direction on the ramp to eastbound I-80. It is kind of blocking the shoulder there. There we go. Our camera was giving us a little bit of an issue. Blocking the shoulder there, so you definitely want to use some caution on the approach. Otherwise, we are relatively quiet. Quick look at your live drive times. If you're traveling from Ogden to the airport, it's a 30-minute ride, 39 from Provo, and about 31 minutes as you travel from the Park City area. And do want to give you a heads up about some construction that's happening for Utah County drivers this week. UDOT is planning some overnight closures starting on Thursday along Redwood Road and 2100 North. So again, starting Thursday night, crews will be there starting to set up some beams for the bridge over Redwood Road. So there will be some nightly closures from 9:30 and that goes until 5:30 in the morning. You'll also see some intermittent closures on Saturdays and Sundays. So expect some lane shifts and closures in the area. Out of I-215 on the ramp to eastbound I-80, still blocking your shoulder here. Thankfully, not impacting your commute substantially, but you definitely want to take it easy as we are seeing some emergency lights blocking the shoulder. So just be mindful of your speed as you're heading out. Good morning to our Tooele commuters. Here's a live look at our camera I-80 near the 201. Quiet conditions for you. Still a 36-minute ride as you travel over to I-15. And take a look at the map. Relatively quiet. The delays that we were seeing earlier, traveling I-80 on the westbound side, making your way into the Salt Lake City area, are quieting down just a bit. So just give yourself some extra time, but thankfully looking pretty good out there.
Deja,
and breakdown free on our roadways. Let's start with a live look at our camera in the Spaghetti Bowl. A wet start to your morning commute, but thankfully still accident and breakdown free. But you definitely want to be mindful of your speed and take it easy. Taking a look at our camera in Lehigh, this is near 1200 North, a much drier commute here. But as you travel northbound up to the Spaghetti Bowl, you can account for a 20-minute ride. Quick look at the map, lots of green. This earlier icon will disappear, but you have an earlier breakdown that has been towed away and not impacting your commute at all. Lori? So much. Well, checking in on our normal congestion for drivers traveling to Hill Air Force Base. You are going to see some congestion as you take that ramp I-15 southbound near 650 North. Just keep that in mind. We are seeing some stacking, so give yourself some extra time and pack some patience. Like Matt mentioned, not seeing major issues on our roadways as you travel through Big and Little Cottonwood Canyons. Be mindful, you may see some snow on the ground, so you definitely want to take it easy. Quick look at the map. No major issues on our 215 interchanges. That earlier crash near the I-80 junction has completely cleared, so we're looking pretty good. Do want to give you an update about about a traffic alert for Utah County drivers happening this week. UDOT is planning some overnight closures along Redwood Road and 2100 North. So starting Thursday night, here's what you can expect. Crews will start setting up beams for the new bridge over Redwood Road. There will be some nightly closures you need to know about. They start around 9:30 and will end around 5:30 the following morning. And you will see some extended closures through the weekend. Other than that, nothing to be concerned about. Just pack some patience and expect some intermittent lane shifts and closures along that route. As you're heading out, I know you heard the little horns honking. I love that. As you're driving north and southbound along the I-15 corridor, not seeing any major issues. Consistently, it's been about a 40-minute ride from the Provo area up to the Spaghetti Bowl. And thankfully, no major issues along I-80, but we are seeing some snow coming down if you're traveling up or down Big and Little Cottonwood Canyons. Seeing some congestion building I-80 eastbound on your approach to SR 201. Keep in mind, we haven't seen reports of any accidents, but some yellow there indicating some slowing. So I'll check on that for you in just a bit. You have two right lanes that are currently blocked. It's impacting westbound and southbound traffic. Emergency crews already on the scene. Now, we haven't seen any ambulances, but definitely seeing some heavy police activity, and take a look at some of the delays that are building in the southbound lanes. So give yourself some extra time if you're traveling through Lehigh. Thankfully, things not looking too bad along the I-15 corridor, and we're relatively quiet across the rest of our interstate system. So great news there.
All right, Deja, thank you. Well, developing out of Price this morning, 2 people in the hospital following a shooting that police believe.
Thank you so much. Well, as you wake up heading out the door, a traffic alert to tell you about. We continue following this crash. It's on the westbound side of Pioneer Crossing at 500 West in the Lehigh area, and it is backing up traffic in the southbound and westbound directions. So you definitely want to keep this in mind. Let's take a look at the map here just for a look at some of the congestion. We are seeing a little bit of stacking on the approach, about 2 to 3 minutes through the backups. So keep that in mind as you're heading out the door this morning. Well, Lori, thanks so much. From a cute little creature causing a craze online to a new movie rolling out with Matt Damon, here's what's buzzing this morning. Saturday Night Live's 50th anniversary over the weekend has been talked about all over the internet, from the jokes and skits to music and fashion. And an Oscar-winning filmmaker taking on an iconic story. We're learning who will be the leading man for the film adaptation of Homer's The Odyssey. So some great news for you. That earlier crash that we saw near the intersection of Pioneer Crossing and 500 West over in the Lehigh area has completely cleared. So some great news there. Still dealing with some residual effects on the approach. Now, if you are traveling on the westbound side, as you make this turn here near the intersection, you will see one of those vehicles that was involved off to the shoulder there. So just use some caution on the approach. Taking a look at the map, we are starting to see some patchy congestion northbound along I-15 as you make your commute from Midville up to the Spaghetti Bowl. But thankfully, no major red flags as you're heading out the door this morning. Maybe see 104, so happy birthday to her. Taking a look at the map, accident and breakdown free. This icon should clear up soon. This is an earlier crash on the southbound side of Pioneer Crossing near 500 West in the Lehigh area. As you travel northbound from Point of the Mountain up to Salt Lake City, it's a 21-minute ride with some minor congestion on your approach to the Spaghetti Bowl. From Tooele this morning, 36 minutes over to I-15, 23 minutes from Kimball Junction, 33 minutes southbound from Ogden, and give yourself some extra time if you're heading to Hill Air Force Base. We are seeing some congestion there. Matt, I'll send it over to you.